Hello, everyone, to another episode of Stallions Run. Of course, Buck, and it's been a while, but we have a lot of news to talk about. So let's get right into it. I mean, let's start off first. Skip Holtz. Last week, at the time of recording, people thought Skip Holtz might have been going to Northwestern. Of course, Northwestern football, of course, college has been having some scandals, which are, of course, Pat Fitzgerald was let go. But they were getting a new head coach. Turns out Northwestern did reach out to Skip Holtz. So I guess we kind of had a moment where people were wondering, were the Birmingham Stallions going to be kind of the first big coaching loss in the USFL? And no, that did not happen. It turns out that contact was made. It was Skip decided I'm going to stick, with Birmingham for now. But I think for a lot of people, it was kind of the first big scare when it came to coaching because, oh man, there's a chance we could lose our coach. So just to, again, settle any doubts, Skip Holtz is staying in Birmingham. No changes are being made in coaching. But again, that was a wild kind of couple hours where we kind of thought Skip Holtz could be done in Birmingham, done with the USFL. But again, it just kind of goes to all the news that we've been hitting just back to back to back with player signings, especially because we have players that are sticking Birmingham, we have players that are going to the NFL, and just kind of names to talk about. So let's go and talk about those players that are staying here in Birmingham first. Marlon Williams, wide receiver. He's a name a lot of fans have heard of. Had some injuries, so didn't get to play a lot, but he has been someone that's going to be sticking around in Birmingham. That's a good signing to have. Bobby Holly, uh, another kind of person who just had some injuries. It wasn't, great sometimes, but, he's sticking around. That's a positive. Kobe Watman, absolutely amazing punter. So having him, especially when losing Aubrey to the Cowboys, which just saying, I called that. But having some special teams stick around going into 2024, that's very nice to have. So Wadman sticking with the Stallions, good. And then O'Shea Duggs is sticking with the Birmingham Stallions. That's kind of our first O line uh, player sticking around. That's a very much, you know, especially special teams and O line are kind of the two cores where it's like you have to have some kind of either a transitional era or you have to have at least some chemistry sticking because that's where you really have that group play kind of mentality. It's not like where you can absolutely have that free for all moment and or that free for all mindset. So keeping some names around where you can like at least start saying, okay, if we're starting to lose O line, at least we have a couple guys that can kind of bring people up to speed on what's expected. And okay, maybe move this way instead of this way. Just those little examples. But we also have people who are heading to the NFL. It's quite it's bittersweet. These people are able to go out there and again the USFL it's developmental. People are trying to move up, and people are moving up. Brandon Aubrey, of course, was the big one that we were talking about last time the Stallions Run was hosted because he was the first name. It was literally 2 days after the championship. We saw that tweet from the Birmingham Stallions that the contract was terminated with Brandon Aubrey for the NFL. My guess, I said pretty publicly, it was going to be the Dallas Cowboys. What do you know? It's the Dallas Cowboys. I talked about how their special teams coach was at Week 7's Stallions versus Stars. A lot of people thought he was there for scouting Aguilar, and that might have been the case. But the Cowboys were looking for a kicker, and they chose to go with Brandon Aubrey. So he is someone that I think is going to make a real big difference in camp, especially with the Cowboys. I think he probably is going to be sticking around in Dallas, and I hope him the best. And I think being able to go in there and go to a camp and kind of show off that leg of his, it's going to be kind of crazy to see kind of that transition. And then we kind of had a stale period where We had some, one people were wondering. Josh Peterson, of course, former gambler, he went to Jacksonville, but then finally, the one everyone was kind of wondering about, Alex Magoo, of course, MVP. People were kind of wondering, this is a person who has gotten a lot of attention. Who's going to be the one to sign? And of course, what's funny is that about the day before, we got the news, there was a report out there that about a third of the NFL is wanting to sign him. But then the next day, I believe it was a Monday, he goes, does a tryout for Green Bay. And the Packers, they say, okay, we are signing you right now. And as of this moment, I don't know if today's practice is entirely done. But Green Bay did host a practice the day of I'm recording. It was an open practice, and he was out there. He's wearing the number 17, and he looked from the footage I saw from camp. Looks like he was making those Stallion style throws the players and pretty much hitting all of them. So hopefully he can make a lasting impact in Packers camp and stick around, which I think he will. And I pretty publicly stated I think there's a very, very solid chance that this chance for Alex Magoo, there is I'm going to say like 95% chance at this point that he's going to be at least QB2 sometime in the NFL season. And I'm going to put it 50-50. There's a chance he could start a game for the Packers. The Packers are in a weird situation where with QB, no one's really 100% sure who it's going to be. People think it might be Jordan Love, but Jordan Love supposedly isn't exactly developing as thought. And with Magoo, especially with that USFL experience, it could come in and really help him, and we could see a huge kind of leap for Alex, which would be awesome to see. But we still have more signings, so let's get to them. The next one, this kind of came out of nowhere. It was very, very quick. Austin Watkins, former UAB player, Stallion. He went to the Cleveland Browns. A lot, people were kind of wondering where did this kind of come from. My guess is the Browns had someone at the USFL championship where he was kind of right there with Kane, kind of showing off. So he's there. He's working out, and he's having good luck in Cleveland. I have to say, again, kind of a shock signing, but hey, these guys are getting out there. They're getting signed perfectly fine with me. Davion Davis, he's going to the Cardinals, kind of a similar path with Victor Bolden last year, who went to the Cardinals. He was kind of the first big signing in the NFL via from the USFL. So now we got another USFL, I should say, I guess overall, Birmingham Stallion going to the Arizona Cardinals. Then, man, this was kind of the one where people were like, oh, man, this could – and I've also said this could be another kind of breakout USFL star in the NFL. Jay Steinberger, he is going to the Buffalo Bills. He has signed. So this is when I said this could be a big deal, and not just Alex Magoo, because Josh Allen and Alex Magoo have a very, very, very similar play style. They're able to run, and they're looking for someone who's either they can improvise to, or they're looking for someone who's following that exact route. Jay Steinberger absolutely thrived with an Alex Magoo chemistry, and I think that's an easy replication with Josh Allen's play style. In Buffalo, if they give Jay Steinberger a true chance, there is 100% Jay Steinberger could be making that 53-man roster. 100%. There's no other way to deny that, because that Magoo play style and that Allen play style, one and the same almost. So that's the name that I am saying that you need to watch out for when it comes to a Birmingham Stallion player in the NFL. And then finally, this one kind of has a story. Of course, it was supposed to be announced, I believe, about a week ago now. Then there was some delay. But the USFL Championship game MVP, Deon Cain, he is going to be going to the Philadelphia Eagles. He had a whole little announcement video announcing it. It was basically a tryout, then a sign. But he is going to his hometown team. So that's just extremely exciting for him. Can't wait to see what he does there. My guess, it's going to be a weird one. I think he's probably going to be a practice squad, in my personal opinion. I'm interested to see how that works out, but I'm really hoping he makes the 53-man game day roster. That's just my opinion. We'll have to see how things play out. I'm intrigued to see what he would look like with Jalen Hurts, which I'm hoping we can see some practice footage soon. I hope that we kind of have a general idea about that. But that's kind of like with the one signing where I'm like, was this the best choice? I feel like there's other teams where King could absolutely go and kind of thrive with the play style. And then finally, we have a workout that we have no result of yet. But Jamar Smith, he went out and did a workout or tryout with the Carolina Panthers. So even though he only played about 3/4 of a game this year, Jamar Smith is getting some NFL tries to see what he can do and hopefully show off, especially Carolina. They're getting Bryce Young, who, like Jamar, very similar play style. So maybe they think maybe Jamar could be a good, kind of way to maybe just have a veteran presence with Bryce. So, a lot happening when it comes to the USFL to NFL pipeline. Well, that's all that we have at the moment. There's been no other news. But as kind of news comes out, you'll see more Stallions runs. I'm personally expecting we'll probably have another kind of signings episode like similar to this one at the moment. I'm going to say that we're probably, I don't know, it feels like the kind of the top picks from the Stallions are now mostly done. I'm surprised, though, we haven't seen as many defensive signings from Birmingham. I think we might see some more kind of workout. But we did have one. I just realized I forgot to mention this. We did have one defensive player is staying with the Stallions. JoJo Tillery is sticking around in Birmingham. I can't believe I forgot about this one. But he is sticking at Birmingham. He is going to be staying with the Stallions. Even though he missed about half the season, when he came back, he was absolutely one of the best safeties in the USFL. So having him back is going to be a nice return to kind of form for the Birmingham defense, especially. But otherwise, I've been your host, Buck. Hope you've enjoyed Stallions Run. Be sure to follow us at the United Football Media, excuse me. And be sure to follow me on Twitter at BuckhamUSFL. And be sure to follow also the other United Football Media personalities as we grow and enjoy our new rebranding. Until then, stick around. See ya.